Baking bread is a beautiful thing. It's simple, honest, and fills your home with the most wonderful aroma. There's nothing quite like a warm slice of freshly baked bread, straight from your own oven. It's a joy to make and even more joyful to eat. Whether you're a complete beginner or have dabbled in baking before, this guide will walk you through the process of making a basic loaf of bread. Don't be intimidated, it's easier than you think. With a little patience and these simple steps, you'll be pulling out golden brown perfection in no time. So, are you ready to roll up your sleeves and experience the magic of bread making? Let's get started. Before we begin our bread making adventure, let's gather our ingredients and tools. Don't worry, you won't need any fancy equipment, just a few basics found in most kitchens. Ingredients: strong white bread flour, 500 grams. This gives the bread its structure. Warm water, 300 milliliters, activates the yeast and brings the dough together. Yeast, 7 grams sachet or 2 teaspoons active dry yeast, the magic ingredient that makes the bread rise. Salt, 1 teaspoon, for flavor. Olive oil, 1 tablespoon optional, for a softer crust. Tools: large mixing bowl, measuring jug, teaspoon, tablespoon, cling film, baking tray. Now that we have everything we need, let's move on to the exciting part, making the bread. 1. Activate the yeast. In the measuring jug, add the warm water. Sprinkle the yeast over the water. Give it a gentle stir. Let it sit for about 10 minutes. You should see some bubbles forming on the surface. That's the yeast waking up. 2. Combine the ingredients. Pour the yeasty water into the large mixing bowl. Add the flour and salt. Mix everything together using your hands or a wooden spoon. 3. Knead the dough. Now, here comes the fun part. Turn the dough out onto a lightly floured surface. Knead the dough for about 10 minutes. Push the dough away from you with the heel of your hand, then fold it back over itself. Keep repeating this motion. The dough should become smooth and elastic. 4. First rise. Lightly oil the mixing bowl. Place the kneaded dough back into the bowl, turning it to coat it with the oil. Cover the bowl with cling film. Let the dough rise in a warm place for about an hour, or until it has doubled in size. 5. Shape the loaf. Gently punch down the risen dough to release the air. Shape it into a loaf and place it on a baking tray lined with baking paper. 6. Second rise. Cover the loaf loosely with cling film and let it rise again for about 30 minutes. 7. Bake. Preheat your oven to 220 degrees Celsius, 200 degrees Celsius fan, or 425 degrees Fahrenheit. Once the oven is hot, bake the loaf for 30 to 35 minutes, or until it's golden brown and sounds hollow when tapped underneath. 8. Cool and enjoy. Once baked, remove the bread from the oven and let it cool on a wire rack before slicing and enjoying. Flour power. Different flours absorb different amounts of liquid. You might need to adjust the water slightly depending on your flour. Warmth is key. Yeast loves warmth. Make sure your water is lukewarm, not too hot, to activate the yeast properly. Don't over-knead. Kneading is crucial, but don't overdo it. Over-kneading can result in a tough loaf. Patience is a virtue. Give your dough enough time to rise. A well-risen dough will result in a lighter and airier loaf. Experiment and have fun. Once you get the hang of basic bread, feel free to experiment with different flours, flavors, and add-ins. The possibilities are endless. Baking bread is a rewarding experience that fills your home with warmth and the irresistible aroma of freshly baked goodness. So go on, give it a try, and enjoy the fruits of your labor.